I had no dream because I was the eldest in the family. Do you know that there are over 200 cases of blindness due to fillers, and most of them have been injected by non-dermatologists and non-plastic surgeons? A lot of doctors who are not qualified, I shouldn't say doctors, but whatever, who are not qualified, and they were doing all of this from childhood. Childhood was not that great.
Skincare is for the girls and all, and I was also the one of that, sadly.
I don't understand this. Men have skin too.
Hi guys, welcome to Beyond the Whitecoat podcast. This is Dr. Vishal Gobale, and today we have a legendary dermatologist with us, Dr. Jaishree ma'am. Hi ma'am.
Hi.
Actually ma'am, since starting the podcast, it was actually you were one of the top guests I wish to host in the podcast.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
It's actually my honor to host you, ma'am, because seeing you on the Instagram when I started my journey on the Instagram. So I thought I'd be my personality should be like the man only. So I just wanted to do like that. And also you were the guest for the flag hoisting in my hospital. So that again gave me some sort of boost that yes, we should do hard work in the direction. And today I'm getting that opportunity to host you in this podcast. Really, I'm blessed, I guess.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am is actually a member and the famous dermatologist. I would say many celebrities come to ma'am for the consultation in dermatology. Along with that, ma'am is a member of the American Association of Dermatology and has given lectures for across all the world in the dermatology aspects. So really a commendable and I would say legendary in that aspect. Yes, ma'am. So we would start with your simple basics, ma'am. Childhood and all. So where did you best and how was your childhood?
I was born and brought up in Jamshedpur,
Yes,
which is now in Jharkhand. In those days, it was in Bihar. Studied there in Sacred Heart Convent School, in a girls' school. My father was an engineer. Mom was a homemaker. Very middle class family.
Yes, ma'am.
Middle class or lower middle class, you can say.
Yeah.
Good values. Mom taught us to, study hard, and she always said education is everything. And father always sort of inspired us to be the best in whatever we did. Whether it was academics or anything in school pertaining to maybe extracurricular activities like elocutions and singing and drama. And he always said that whatever you do it, with full dedication and discipline. And that's how it was. We are 3 siblings. I'm the eldest one.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've got a brother who's the youngest. He's in Germany. He's an engineer. And I've got a sister in Hyderabad.
Lovely to know, ma'am. Ma'am, since the childhood, we all have that weird dream that I'll be the one, like for example, astronaut, or some say that I'll be police officer, IS officer, likewise. So was there any weird dream you had, or you just always wanted to be a doctor?
I had no dream because I was the eldest in the family. My father, he had 3 sisters and 1 brother. My mother had 3 brothers and there were 3 sisters, but my parents were the eldest. So I was the eldest child. And back in the day, it was, you could either be a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer or an engineer. You couldn't be anything else, right?
Yes.
So everybody in the family, I think from the day I was born, had put it in my mind and instilled in me that you have to be a doctor. Yes. So for me, I always had to be a doctor. I knew from day one. And slowly I also sort of developed that interest because whenever we'd go to clinics or hospitals, my grandma had hypertension or something or the other, and I would look at this white coat and I'd be really overawed. So I think, it started from there.
Yes, ma'am. Was there any sort of life-changing moment that, that made you to decide that, yes, this is for me?
As in terms of dermatology or
in terms of dermatology, means after your medical MBBS?
So I wanted to be a pediatrician and I was doing my internship in JJ Hospital. And when I was in the Department of Pediatrics, it was very hard for me to see children suffer, especially kids who had leukemia. And every day I'd come back and maybe I was not strong enough. I should have been. but I probably wasn't strong enough. And that's where throughout MBBS, I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then I changed my mind and said, no, I can't see people suffer, which I feel maybe I should have pursued what I did, but it's fine. I'm happy as I am today.
Yeah, ma'am.
Then, there was a strike
Yes.
that was going on, a resident strike in JJ. And I got the opportunity of spending a lot of time in the Department of Dermatology because of the resident strike. So interns, we were all interns, so we were made to work more. And so that's when I realized that, dermatology is also a very nice branch. We didn't have cosmetic stuff then.
Yeah.
It was vitiligo, it was acne, and then diseases like psoriasis, pemphigus, all of that. But there was this couple who had come from a village with their marriage daughter's wedding card, and they were literally ready to touch the feet of all of us. Okay, saying that you have cured my daughter of vitiligo and now she's going to get married. And you can't imagine how gratified we are and how grateful we are to you. And that was I think that was my life-changing moment. And I said, maybe this is a calling.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think, ma'am, after the brain, the most important organ is skin only in the body. Because it is the largest organ, as what we say, and it's really difficult to study dermatology. It's like I used to find it really difficult because those terms, histology and all those things, it was actually tougher for me. People think that dermatology is just 9 to 5 thing, but I think it is one of the toughest, and definitely you have to read a hell lot of books to be a great dermatologist as you are. What do you want to say about this, ma'am?
I think we dermatologists were grossly underestimated. And people do not or did not take care of their skin for a very long time,
Yeah.
right? Even today, people take skin for granted.
Sorry.
Right? So, following a good skincare ritual, following a good lifestyle, taking care of your skin, all that has started now. I think it's a good thing. I think, especially during lockdown, when there was people had a lot of time and a lot of these influencers came, and then we also as dermatologists, and we also started doing all these Instagram lives and all, and cosmeceutical industries, skincare industries. Everybody, I think, got together and brought about the awareness. But otherwise, back in the day,
nobody was that much
dermatology
aware.
was not. Yeah, today it's the number one branch.
Yeah.
But even today, for that matter, we are still underestimated because everybody who's not a dermatologist also becomes a dermatologist.
Yeah, that is one of the questions I wanted to ask you, ma'am. Lots of paramedicals, even they are trying to do practice in cosmetology, that aspect. They do some fellowship or I don't know what the course they do, but they proclaim that they are a dermatologist and we will give the skin solution, and they tend to promote bad things like that we will brighten your skin, and likewise for the marriage and all, and many people goes and approach to them. But is there any on a longer run, what do you think, ma'am? It would be persistent, or it will fade away as people get educated more and more?
I think it will persist for a while unless the government and the medical council and all of them sort of get together and make these guidelines very strict. You can have, I've been seeing, influencers become therapists, or therapists who are there at a skin clinic with a dermatologist suddenly open a bigger clinic, and then they become, the go-to person. And patients sometimes do not know of the qualifications.
Yeah.
Sometimes the qualifications are faked, even on website or on their, in their clinic and etc. And sometimes patients know about the qualifications, but they still don't mind going to the person saying that, oh, uska to haath acha hai.
Right.
Or she's cheaper. Her treatments are cheaper. Her lasers are, it's a glycolic peel, and this one takes X amount and she takes only this much. Not understanding that it's not so easy, right? As you rightly said, skin is the largest organ of the body. It is a window to your internal health, and you cannot play with it. And especially when it comes to lasers and injectables like fillers, Botox, and all of that. Do you know that there are over 200 cases of blindness due to fillers, and most of them have been injected by non-dermatologists and non-plastic surgeons?
Yes, ma'am.
So
I've
if you
read
do
about it.
not know the anatomy, you can hit a blood vessel and you can cause so much damage.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, now you may do 100 cases and be, like very safe. Your 101st case can go wrong. And if you're not a plastic surgeon or not a dermatologist or not a trained aesthetic physician, you do not know how to rectify that,
Yeah.
right? So, learning how to deal with complications and understanding the anatomy and understanding the face, there is so much more to just what you see on the surface.
Yes, ma'am.
That, I mean, we are still studying, no, Vishal?
Yeah.
I'm 50 right now. I still go to every conference. I may be giving 2, 3 lectures, of course. I'm invited as faculty internationally. So every conference that I go to, I sit, I give my lectures. But how many lectures? 2 lectures, 3 lectures, 1.5 hours
Yeah.
out of those 5 days of the conference. Rest of the time, I'm sitting in the audience and learning. And then we're also reading PubMed journals constantly and upgrading ourselves. We're doing workshops, we're attending seminars. We are always learning. I'm sure that's what
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
with you also,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yeah.
Are these people even, they don't even know dermatology. So
Exactly. I
it's
mean,
really scary.
I'm actually
It's scary.
worried that why there was a need of any courses like this.
Yeah.
But maybe they only must have started, they must have learned it somewhere else. I just wanted to ask you one thing, ma'am. You have been to lot many countries. Do other countries also have this sort of cosmetology field?
Yeah.
I've heard that recently US has taken really strict actions
Yeah.
against non-medicos using Botox treatment.
Yes. So, yes, you're right that, even in the US, you have physician assistants and nurses and a lot of doctors who are not qualified. I shouldn't say doctors, but whatever, who are not qualified, and they were doing all of this. Very, very rampant. But the Dermatology Association there is very strong. And then for years they've been fighting, and I think now recently there are strict guidelines by US FDA which says that only qualified and well trained people can inject fillers and Botox.
I think that's the one thing as in Indian perspective, we'll have to do that because
We'll have to at some point. It has to be done because you don't want ulcers, necrosis, blindness, and these kind of side effects,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Yeah.
Number of reported complication would be far less in India, I guess, rather than US and all.
That's another thing. So when there is a complication, in the US or in Europe, they report it. Here in India, nobody reports it.
Yes.
So that's another thing, and you don't know. There may be complications, but we don't know about them. So
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that perspective, ma'am. But coming back to your childhood, we would like to know where did you do your UG and PG, ma'am?
So I studied in Sevagram, Mahatma Gandhi
Yes,
Institute
MGIMS.
of Medical Sciences,
Yes.
MGIMS. So I did my MBBS from there, and then I did my post-graduation from here, from Mumbai.
Okay. And so, ma'am, do you have any fond memories from the MBBS days? Like you would like to tell as you recollect it for a longer this time?
Sevagram is a very unique place, and that back in the day, there was only an engineering college and a medical college. There was nothing else. So a lot of fond memories. We used to do a lot of seva and shramdan. We used to go to villages once in a month.
Lovely.
Yeah, and because Gandhi principles,
Yes.
right? So once in a month, have those visits. Go to these villages, eat with them, have the kind of food that they make, and they give you so much love. We would go for there were medical camps,
Right.
but it was really enjoyable going to all these places. They became one of us. We used to have prayer meetings. It was very different, And of course, Sevagram is very special to me because I met my husband there.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Great
So
to know.
he was he was doing his MS. When I joined, he was the outgoing president of the college.
Wow.
He was just finishing his MBBS. And then, yeah, of course. So that's why it's very special.
I am one of the Sharad sir students actually. He was in our college also. So he is actually one of the go-to surgeon. I mean, like my guide actually preferred no other surgeon than sirs in
Okay.
our center. So I had interacted with a lot of times to sir. Ma'am, coming back to your residency days now, we all get this toxicity nowadays. Also, there are a lot of cases of toxicity. So how was your residency?
No, I think I pretty much, I was very focused from the beginning.
Okay.
Very hardworking. I didn't bother who's saying what to me.
Right.
And I mean, for me, my work was everything, and I knew I had to put in my 100%. My colleagues were pretty nice. I mean, you do have a little bit of toxicity here and there,
yes.
but the idea is, that how much are you going to absorb? So put a filter around you.
Right.
And filter out all that toxicity, build a wall around you, and say these things should not affect me because my focus is something else. Right? I want to complete my post-graduation. I want to excel. I want to do things in future. So why let these toxic people or toxic environment affect you? Because remember, you are the master of whatever happens to you. You are allowing it to happen to you.
Right.
Why should you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's something I think my mom taught me, and it really always helps me.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that toxicity exists even now, and more, much more. Because there are always people who want to pull you down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but you have to just move on. Do your thing.
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, you have achieved a lot of things. In your means coming to the residency, ma'am, how did you still keep up with Sharad sir then? How did you all got married?
Oh no, I got married immediately after MBBS.
Okay,
before
lovely.
my internship.
Nice to know.
Yeah, and then so then I moved to Mumbai, and we started our journey from MGM only.
Yes.
He was working in MGM as a lecturer.
Yes.
And I joined internship in JJ.
Nice.
We used to live in the MGM, hospital. There was a doctor's room.
Yes.
We used to live there. We stayed there for 6 months.
Yes.
Then MGM gave us some those quarters, so we stayed in CBD for about a year.
Yeah.
Tough journey. He used to get 6,000 rupees. I used to get nothing. And my brother and sister had to be educated. My father was not working, so everything was, on my husband. He was very supportive. I'm very fortunate. But those memories, Vishal, where
that builds some sort of personality.
We didn't have money. We wanted to buy those 1400, inch ka television, chota.
Yeah.
3,000 rupees. We took we borrowed money from friends, and we gave them in installments every month. I think it took us a year just to give away that loan. It was a black and white TV, and the carton that was there, that was the table, because we didn't have money. We didn't have money for cupboards, so we went all the way to Masjid in a local train and got those big trunks. We got a gas stove from there. I remember going to Ulhasnagar to buy a sofa. For a very long time, we didn't have sofa. We just had mattresses on the floor. And those cartons, we got those, those aluminium boxes were our things that we got from Masjid Bandar. We came in that local train, goods compartment where there was a dog. Dogs. There were goats. And there were everything.
Yes.
And so those memories. We didn't have a refrigerator, so in summers we used to go and buy a little ice. And we used to buy those really cheap ice creams, those stick ice creams. But those were our days where we really enjoyed. We didn't have money to buy a mixer grinder, and his friends were coming one day. And I sat crying, and I'm like, how do you expect me to make chicken? Because I need something to make the masala. So then we had a scooter at that time. We went to Turbe we bought that, that stone, that grinding
Yes,
stone.
yes, I
So we
mortar and
bought
pestle,
that.
what we say. Yeah.
So with that, I made the masala and the food was really good. So all of those memories are really nice, and it just made us so much more, got us so much more closer, me and
Yeah.
Sharad. Also, that we now value everything because we've come the hard way.
Yes.
Right? And my first flight was in 2004. So after finishing my, my post graduation, that time we did not learn about fillers and Botox.
Right.
So I wanted to go abroad and do a fellowship, but there was no money. So then I started working in MGM,
Okay.
and then I was going to Raj Hospital and Dr. Jadav's and this and that.
Yes.
5 polyclinics, morning to night, going to Dr. Satish Sawant, learning from him. And then finally gathered money, got a scholarship. 2004, took the first flight to Bangkok, did a fellowship there.
I saw the photos over there.
Yeah.
So all photos are there.
I did
yes.
that. And then I wanted to go to the US. Couldn't afford again. There was no money to. So I did get an invitation for, okay, come and spend 1 month, do an observership. But who's going to pay for the food, the stay, the flight? So I said no. So I just chose Bangkok. Came back, started practice full-fledged. In 2011, I went to the States.
God.
So that was like 10 years after my practice.
Yes.
I still wanted to learn. And 10 years after my practice, I had already started injecting fillers, Botox, everything, because I'd gone to Bangkok, done my fellowship
Yes.
at Ramati Body Hospital. But that thirst was there. So in 2011, I went and I did like a 3-month fellowship in the US again to, just sharpen my skills. And and it's just, the journey's been good. It's been amazing. I think my first celebrity patient was in 2009. And there's no looking back.
Actually, seeing you on the Instagram, and ma'am is like consulting a lot of superstars, actually, I would say. And I'd never imagined that ma'am must have gone to US after 10 years of the practice, because after 10 years you sort of kind of start earning. So definitely that there is no fire in the belly left as such to learn and to go to the US. But from that 10 years to being a member of American Association of Dermatologists, really commendable job, ma'am.
So I'll tell you something.
Yes,
when
ma'am.
I couldn't go, when I didn't have money to go to the US, and I had approached Dr. Tina Alster, who's one of the biggest when it comes to lasers, and she's in Washington, D.C. And when she had allowed me to do an observership also, and I couldn't because I couldn't afford it. And since the last 3 years at the American Academy of Dermatology, I have been speaking in her session.
Lovely to know,
So
ma'am.
life comes a full circle.
Yes, ma'am.
And she didn't know, of course, that, first I couldn't afford her. Then when she allowed a free
Yes.
observership, also I couldn't afford her. And finally, I'm actually faculty now in her
Yes.
sessions. And I'm now writing a chapter in one of her books.
Amazing to know, ma'am. Actually, so I was like, ma'am, my setup is too small and all, but ma'am is actually very humble, guys, and I was really impressed with all those things. She just made me so comfortable that I'm feeling like we are in a good same page right now.
Of course.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
all these hardships, from there, when you grow up and then you see all of this, and then, the monetary issues and everything, life teaches you a lot of good lessons. And the thing is, when you go through all these obstacles, don't see them as obstacles, see them as opportunities, and learn from them, and everything just unfolds when you learn from them.
Actually, it's like listening to all these things what you have came from and achieving, and it's even more increasing my sort of respect for you, obviously. Yes, ma'am.
No, that I think everybody can achieve. It's just dedication and
Yeah.
discipline, as I
Yes,
said.
ma'am, coming through this middle class background and achieving this great feat, going through all these hardships, what 3 points you would highlight that always keep you ignited to grow in such a massive amount?
I think the fire to sort of just keep on learning, because there's so much of advancement in every field, especially in dermatology. be it lasers, be it the biologics, be it injectables, and every day there's something new. The innovations are huge, and and there's no dearth out there to go out and learn. So I think that's very exciting, and that keeps me going. The second thing is patient satisfaction,
Yeah.
right? So when a patient comes back and feels confident and says, I have patients who come and sometimes they say, Doc, you've made me love myself. That's the greatest compliment. The greatest thing that they can tell me, not
Yes.
just the compliment, but it just feels so happy and makes you feel wanting to do more for everybody.
Yes.
Um, and of course, I like to educate and empower and bring about awareness and teach the youngsters. And I think, yeah, that's what keeps me going.
Yes, ma'am. After that, ma'am, we'll come to some fun part. So basically, in which I'll ask you some rapid fire questions. You have to choose this or that and why it would be from the dermatologist's point of view, obviously. So the first thing is always I keep on asking in earlier episodes also is, are you a night person or a day person?
I'm a day person.
Any as a being as a dermatologist, obviously for the skin also it is the best time to be, right? Yes, ma'am. Next question is, are you a more or a chat person, or you like to interact in person?
I'd like to interact in person.
Lovely. Yes, ma'am. Next is, are you a movie buff or you like books more?
Books, any day.
Yes, ma'am. Can you suggest some of the books? Obviously, this is the best book. Yes.
Um, Nowadays, I love reading autobiographies.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether it was Mahatma Gandhi's, or Nelson Mandela's, or Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I love to read autobiographies, biographies, and now I'm, reading a lot of motivational books. I love the autobiography of a yogi. That's a book that is there on my desk all the time. I don't know how many times I've read it. Yeah, so all of these books.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. After that short segment, next segment is about the imagination. The segment's name is as imagination, in which I'll give you some imaginary scenario and how would you react in that part. So the first question is, suppose you get chance to go in the past with the time machine, then what sort of life-changing medical discovery you would like to visit again?
Definitely fillers, no? I would love to actually go back and see how it was discovered and all the newer, nanoparticles and technologies and all that is being incorporated. Because
Yeah.
that's my passion.
Yeah.
Regenerative medicine is the other thing,
Yes, ma'am.
which I would love to see.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's obviously people glorify that skincare is for the girls and all, and I was also the one of that, sadly. But now I'm taking care of it, and obviously you're going to help me. But ma'am, what do you think about this perspective of the men in the society, that they think that the skincare is for not for us?
I don't understand this. Men have skin too.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yes.
So if you have skin and it's the largest organ of your body,
Yeah.
why should you not take care of skin?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
you have to take care of your skin.
Yes, ma'am.
And in today's day and age, when you look in the mirror in the morning, you should feel confident, right?
Yes.
And your skin, the way you look, it's not about features. It's just about a clearer, radiant skin, hydrated. You'll feel more confident.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Otherwise, there could be something nagging a lot of times. Yes, people say, oh, embrace your acne and embrace your marks and embrace this.
Yeah.
But, still, when you go and there are 10 people sitting in front of you, you go for an interview or you meet people, appearances do matter. So, when I say appearances do matter, again, I'm clarifying, I'm not saying, oh, you have to be fair skinned or you have to have sharp features. I'm just saying clear skin. It just makes you feel so confident.
Yes.
So, why should men not take care of their skin?
Yeah, ideally they should. Ma'am, if you just would like to highlight that what are the most important things are overlooked by the men in the skincare you must have faced in the practice. So, what are those?
I think men don't use sunscreen. Do you use a sunscreen?
I have been using since I got married recently, so I have been using since last 1 month actually.
Since a month you're using. And how old are you, if I may ask, approximately?
It's all right, ma'am. 28.
So in 28 years, since only 1 month you've been using, and you are actually, you finished your MBBS.
Yes, ma'am. I am a medical student. Likewise, I've done MD
You're
medicine.
MD now.
Yes.
You're post MD.
Yes.
And you're still not using a sunscreen. So imagine what happens to people who are not from the medical fraternity.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think men don't use sunscreen. They don't use moisturizers. They use a soap to wash their face.
Yeah, that actually used to happen in the hostel days, but I'm not glorifying it again. That's actually the bad practice, guys. Because whatever you have, you should value that. You should respect that. And one of the most important aspect, which reflects your internal status, is I think the skin.
It's the skin. If you have thyroid, you'll have dry skin, you'll have hyperpigmentation. If you have diabetes, you'll have infections which don't heal. If you have polycystic ovaries, you'll have acne and weight gain and hair fall and hirsutism. So, if you have a liver disorder, it shows on the skin, you have icterus, So, listen to your skin, guys, and take care of it.
Unless and until a girl comes in the boy's life, nobody usually bother to take care. But obviously, this scenario is changing now. There are
a lot. It's really changing a lot.
Yes, actually, I know you are one of the first influencers to start on the social media in those days, and many of us are actually got influenced with that. But when it comes to applying that into the daily care, it becomes really difficult because we are lazy, actually, you would say, and lazy for ourselves. It's really bad thing to tell, but yeah, I accept that. But now onwards, I'll definitely take care of that fact.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. Coming on to the imagination scenario again. The first one we covered about the which thing you'll revisit in the past. Now I would like to say that what thing you'll go again in the past and try to change in the aspect of dermatology, so as to we have the positive impact in the coming generations.
I think the use of steroids.
Okay.
Back in the day, we were using a lot of steroids. So whenever a patient comes to us, they'll say, oh, don't give us steroids, because it's now in their mind that when it's a dermatologist will give steroids. I want to change that. I would like just go back and say, give us steroid sparing drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah.
That actually causes not only the weight gain and all, but long-term complications as well. A huge number of long-term complications.
True, but also, sometimes it's mandatory to use a steroid.
Yes.
And the appropriate use is very important for the appropriate period of time. And, what happens in our countries, these creams are easily available over the counter.
This actually.
And so people are self-treating themselves.
It used to happen, yeah.
And then you have side effects.
Yeah, man. I know this fact that in small town, like I was from Aurangabad, I'm from Aurangabad. So that what used to happen that a general people will used to come and like, this cream is good for your skin and you can try this for the bright skin.
The whole country uses Betnovate.
Okay.
It is so detrimental, right, to your skin.
Yeah.
Anything, you have a pimple, use Betnovate. You have a rash, use Betnovate. You want to be fair, you use Betnovate. Okay, and there are a zillion fairness creams in the market.
Yes, ma'am.
Which have steroids in them.
Yeah.
Right, triple combination. Actually, in the US, they really give triple combination a lot of value. Why? Because you can't just go and buy it. It's prescription. It's a prescription drug. So you give it for a stipulated period of time. But now here it's not like that. You buy a triple combination fairness cream. It has retinol, it has tretinoin, it has mometasone or fluocinolone or betamethasone, one of those, and it has hydroquinone. And happily your melasma goes away and you can use it and abuse it, and finally you get telangiectasias, you get your skin becomes thin, you get eczemas, your skin becomes sensitive, you get acne, you get hair on the skin. All of that happens. Why? Because you are abusing your skin without a doctor prescribing it to you or guiding you and telling you what to do and what not to do. So that's the sad part.
Yes, ma'am. Again, would just like to know one thing in the imagination scenario. So supposedly we are making a movie on your life as a biopic. So, what would be the name of the biopic and who would be starring that? I know you, ma'am, actually would star that.
My
She
parents.
obviously looks young.
My parents. My parents. I am what I am because of my parents.
Great.
I think. And the other person who has a huge influence on me, and everybody knows this, and I call him my guru, is Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, Shri Amitabh Bachchan. I have taken a lot of lessons from his life lessons, and so I think I will feature 3 of them.
Yeah, lovely. And ma'am, obviously you would be starring, but suppose anybody else you would like to would be starring in your younger age, even more that like as a kid or in the college MBBS UG days. So would be starring those part.
I would still take Mr. Bachchan because at that time I was fangirl, right?
Yeah. No.
In my school life, through my school, I used to write letters to him.
Oh.
And I thought he was the most, not just most handsome person in this universe, but also this hero who could
Yeah.
solve everybody's problems.
Yes.
And so that was the younger version of me. And then as I grew older, this version of me sort of sees all the struggles in his life and how he deals with them and learns from him. So it'll still be him.
Yeah. Ma'am, the one thing you'd like to tell all of our viewers also that you learned from the Amit sir, that which kept on, having that positive aspect in your life, that one thing, one positive saying of his that inspired you throughout this career.
So he is always also inspired by his father, Sri Harivansh Rai Bachchan ji. And that one quote where he says, "Man ka ho to acha, na ho to aur bhi acha." And I think that has a huge impact, on a day-to-day, basis.
Yes.
And there is so much more to learn every day.
When did you first visit Amit sir, ma'am? Means you have been writing since the college days, you said.
School days.
School
I
days,
was
yeah.
I was 9 years old, 10 years old.
Okay.
Like a bunch of letters.
Yes.
But I first met him in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great to know. And how was your reaction? Means obviously, you must have awestruck seeing him, but what was the first interaction was like? He recognized you that you were writing the letters?
No. I mean, there'll be so many people writing to him. He didn't even know who I was.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Nothing. Of course, I was awestruck, and I had the opportunity of chatting with him, and I met him with a very dear friend of mine, Jitesh Pillai, who is the editor of editor of Filmfare.
Okay.
I'll cut this and you take it again.
Okay, no problem.
So I met him with a dear friend of mine, Jitesh Pillai, who's the editor of Filmfare, and I think there was some issue with his outfits or whatever, and so we had an hour at our disposal where we chatted with him, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, it's actually a dream for many of us, like to visit Amit sir. It's really a dream come true for me too. But coming to the part where you have visited a lot of countries, right? So which country you admire the most, or which is your dream destination you would be love to stay there apart from India?
Europe. So one of the quainter places in Europe, maybe Switzerland or Croatia or any of those places.
Yeah.
The other place which I really loved was Patagonia. Just pristine and serene nature. Just be amidst all of that. I mean, I love nature.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to be there.
Yes. One question left from that rapid fire was, are you a hill person or a beach person? So, what did?
I'm a hill person.
Okay.
I used to be a beach person, but now it's changed.
Yes. Ma'am, those harsh or sharp sunlight or sun exposure on the beach, what we call sunburn and all, is it really that bad, or like people just say that?
So if you have a tendency to polymorphic light eruptions or allergies and stuff, then definitely you're going to suffer. Then you're going to tan. We have more melanin, so we don't burn so much. But if you have melasma or if you have any kind of hyperpigmentation, that's going to increase.
Yes.
And then it takes forever for that to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. I mean, it depends on how much value you give to your skin.
Yeah.
Right?
Certainly.
Fortunately, because of our skin type, skin type 3, 4, 5, Indian skin, we have lesser chances of skin cancer, but there's still a possibility, right? Melanoma, squamous cell carcinoma, basal cell carcinoma, these are all skin cancers if you are repetitively exposed to ultraviolet B. So one beach holiday is not going to do that, but if you repetitively sit under the sun, or even tanning beds and stuff like that, there's a possibility.
Okay. After this, ma'am, many actually have messaged me that whenever you visit Jaishree, ma'am, they just ask that exactly what they should for the hair loss, because lots of medical students are having this androgenic alopecia, maybe a stress related thing, but what factors they should focus and how they should address this problem, ma'am?
First is, don't stress about your hair loss, because stress itself is one of the major causes for hair loss, right? So you have to sort of find out what is the cause of hair loss, and then have all the vitamins and minerals and trace elements, so vitamin A, B, C, D, E, magnesium, selenium, iron, calcium, have a high protein diet, because your hair is keratin and that's protein, so do that. Do not indulge in alcohol, smoking, weed, all of that. Sleep well, and then find out if you have hypothyroidism, find out if you're a female, PCOS, and all these different disorders. If you are yo-yoing with your diet, keto diet today and some other diet tomorrow and some other diet tomorrow, and not eating adequately, nutrition plays a huge role when it comes to hair.
Yes.
So find out, and then get yourself treated by a dermatologist.
Thank you, ma'am. After that, I just wanted to know about what are the therapeutic options we have for the androgenic alopecia.
See, for androgenetic alopecia, you have minoxidil, topical and oral. Okay, US FDA approved. People have this fear that, minoxidil, if you use, then you have to use it for life. But you have to use it for life because it's androgenetic alopecia, right? Even if you do a hair transplant, you will still lose the rest of the hair. Okay, so you have to. The other thing is, a bunch of vitamins. Then you have finasteride. Again, people are very scared of finasteride because of the side effect of, maybe there's a decreased libido. But that's very, very rare. It doesn't happen in everybody. So there is finasteride. There's oral minoxidil. And then we have a bunch of new topicals now. You have, like Capexil and Redensil and all these peptides and all of that, which also act as an adjuvant to minoxidil. And then finally, you have PRP and ACP treatments to sort of maintain, and you have hair transplant. Or you have a wig.
So what would be the better, ma'am? It's like hair transplant or having a wig? What do you say?
Well, that's your choice.
No, not asking you as a dermatologist, obviously, but hair transplant.
In today's day and age, it's very, very advanced, right? Hair transplant, and it's very simple, and a lot of people are doing it very meticulously and very well. There are a lot of clinics. So why not? I mean, if hair is boosting your confidence, and when you lose hair, if it's somewhere bringing your confidence down, your self-esteem down, But remember that just hair transplant is not the answer. You have to do your hair transplant, but you also have to follow a good diet and a good lifestyle to maintain that hair.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, many people suggest that they should do hair spa twice a week or like in the salon and all for the hair loss. What is your opinion on that?
I don't think that is required for hair loss.
Okay. So many people actually tend to suggest a
lot.
So
hair spas and all are good if your hair is very frizzy. You can do a hair spa once in a while, maybe once in a month or something. But that's not going to contribute to hair regrowth or, stop your hair fall.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the clarification on the hair loss issue. Next issue commonly faced, including me, many young adults actually face this about the acne, right? So a lot of skincare routine has to be followed for that. There's no doubt about that. But I would like to again hear it from your side that this is the way to approach and to avoid acne in your body.
First thing I would want to say that if you have acne, it's not the end of the world. So, treat it, but don't give it so much importance. Okay, that's one thing, because again with stress your cortisol increases and then it's like a vicious cycle and you get more acne because your oil secretion will increase, there'll be more accumulation of cutibacterium acne, and then there'll be pimples.
Right.
So do not give it so much importance, do not stress. Second, these tons of products that are available and people love to use them and layer your skin with AHA, BHA, niacinamide, vitamin C, this, that, the other, and then the skin will get clogged, the pores will get clogged, and then you'll get acne. So stop doing that. When you have acne, use the bare minimum. Consult a dermatologist to understand what are the actives that you can use. So yes, you can use AHA, you can use BHA, and you can use retinol.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Right? And don't layer it. Then what are the face washes that you can use? You can't use random face washes. You have to use something which has tea tree oil or glycolic acid or salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is lipophilic, so it is going to get into the clogged pore and it's going to unclog the pore because it's going to dissolve the sebum. So use something with salicylic acid in it. Don't use oil-based, cream-based cleansers and face washes. Your moisturizers, you will still need a moisturizer, but use a gel-based or a water-based moisturizer. And there are plenty available in the market today. Do not use oils on the face because that will clog your pores. Sunscreen, again, just because you have acne doesn't mean you don't use a sunscreen. You need a sunscreen because when the acne heals, a lot of times it will leave behind those black marks.
Yeah.
So a gel-based sunscreen, a matte sunscreen, or a water-based sunscreen. So avoid a cream-based or an oil-based sunscreen. So that's going to be your day routine. Then at night, depending on what kind of acne you have, your dermatologist will give you different creams. So use those and then top it with a moisturizer.
Yeah.
And if your acne have gone and you have acne prone skin, then you can use probably a BHA once in a week or twice in a week, an AHA twice in a week, a retinol, and then on the other nights use a hyaluronic acid. Okay. Then very important, do not pick at your acne, because when you pick it, then you'll get more marks and more infection.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a good lifestyle,
Yes.
because if you have a lot of alcohol, your acne will increase. If you have sugar, milk, maida, food with high glycemic index, fried potatoes, your IGF-1 will increase and you'll get more acne. So again, diet plays a major role. Sleep plays a major role. So you need to follow your circadian rhythm, try and sleep early, so that your hormones are in place. So all of this contributes to acne.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, after listening to that much routine care for the skin, I'm actually got overwhelmed because of this. But I'll definitely try to work on that. And I hope viewers will also try to indulge into that practice.
No, there's nothing to get overwhelmed. In fact, you don't use so many things. I am saying just use a simple face wash, a moisturizer and a sunscreen in the day, and an anti-acne cream at night. That's all.
Yeah.
Don't do anything else.
Yes.
Eat healthy.
Yeah.
Follow a good lifestyle.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, over the counter they use a lot of anti-acne creams as such. So I don't know if it's right to prescribe this but what do you think that what are the best available in the market that will not cause any harm as such?
I think salicylic acid is something that you can use maybe 2 or 3 times in a week. Retinol you can use.
Yes.
And for the rest of it, you should consult with a dermat.
Yes, ma'am. No doubt about that. Ma'am, coming to an important question actually, that many people think that sunscreen is to be used only when you go to the sunlight or sun exposed part. But I learned this very fact recently, 1 month back, as I told, that you have to use it even the night also. So I really want clarification on that aspect, because I thought you have to use only when you are exposed to sun. It's called a sunscreen, right? So is it true or likewise?
I think if you use a sunscreen, use it even when you're indoors. Why do we say that? Because you may have these large windows like I do, and there's a lot of light which comes in.
Yes.
Right? So in such a situation, or even if you have glass windows in your office, UVA 70% of it will penetrate glass.
Yeah.
That's why you need a sunscreen. Okay. When you're indoors, and sometimes you have balconies, you go out, you come in, homemakers will go to the terrace, go to the balcony, come in. So you need a sunscreen. Now, also if you are going to sit in front of a laptop for over 5 to 6 hours, there's a lot of blue light. that you get exposed to. And then you need a sunscreen.
Yeah.
Should you be using a sunscreen at night? I mean, not if you have very harsh UV lights.
Okay.
This is new to me. I
Yeah.
do not advise sunscreen
Yeah.
at night.
No, night in the
Okay?
sense it's evening and all
So,
those
no,
time only.
I
Whenever
don't-
I'm working, likewise.
No, I mean, are you working on the PC for over 4 hours? Then maybe,
Yeah.
you know, continuously are you working? Continuously do you have harsh lights? You know, just these regular lights
Yeah.
are okay. I mean, you know, you don't have to go overboard and keep using sunscreen
Yeah,
in the
but,
evening, night and all.
I have-
Daylight, yes. Indoors, yes. And I told you why.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Actually, the one of the important aspect again related to sunscreen is aging is really faster these days because of the screen time. You can say stress related things. Even people are working in so much of heat today because of the greenhouse effect and all. The heat is really increasing. So sunscreen will sort of help in that way, right? For the aging
Yeah,
effect.
of course, sunscreen is important. Why is sunscreen important? One, it protects your skin from, you know, hyperpigmentation and all the allergies and sunburn, suntan, and it prevents rapid degradation of collagen and elastin fibers, which are responsible to keep your skin firm and intact.
Right.
So definitely aging, yeah. Otherwise, you get wrinkles and sagging and all of that. But use it the right way. Use it indoors and outdoors. Sunrise to sunset.
They say.
All right.
Yeah.
After sunset, unless you're really exposed to harsh lights or continuous like 8 hours of laptop, or you know you are constantly in the kitchen in front of those infrared rays, then you need to use it after sunset. Otherwise, no.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. After that, one of the last question is melasma is also increasing nowadays, and I've heard that it has absolutely no treatment. But I just want clarification from your aspect.
So melasma is hyperpigmentation of the skin. Typically occurs on the cheeks, you know, as a butterfly rash in
Yeah.
females. Also in males if there is a genetic predisposition. And typically during pregnancy, you know, you get the butterfly rash. It's dark brownish, even sometimes light brownish discoloration. It can spread to the nose, to the forehead, to the rest of the face as well. With every minute of sun exposure, it will increase. So sunscreen is mandatory. If it is epidermal melasma, it goes. You know, a lot of times during pregnancy when it comes, it goes off. It's epidermal. But if it's dermal, if it's gone deeper into the skin, it's very difficult to get rid of it. You can lighten it, but it can always come back on a beach holiday or a trek if you have not taken care. So we do have lasers, we do have peels, we do have medicines, oral, creams, everything. But all of that need not necessarily get rid of melasma.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it goes.
Yes.
You know, around the perimenopausal phase, sometimes it disappears.
Yes.
Sometimes it comes around the perimenopausal phase. So it's very difficult to say what, why. But if you have melasma, don't use steroid creams, but you know, consult with a dermatologist. But most importantly, sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. After that, I would just like to know about what are the possible options for the laser therapy on the skin.
There are various lasers available. So you start with hair removal laser. You have the long pulse Nd:YAG, the long pulse diode, the long pulse alexandrite. 3 types of wavelengths for hair removal laser, for hair removal. Then you have, for pigmentation, you have Q-switch Nd:YAG, you have Ruby, you have the Pico laser, both 1064 nanometers, as well as, you know, you also have 532 nanometers. Then you have the thulium laser, again for hyperpigmentation and rejuvenation. Then you have the fractional and fractional ablative and fractional non-ablative CO2 as well as erbium. You know, that is for fine lines, wrinkles, skin resurfacing, scars, you know, removing of warts and, you know, skin growths and all of that. Then you have the excimer laser, which is for psoriasis, vitiligo, all of that. Then you have the ablative, you know, CO2, which is,
Right.
we don't do so much in Indian skin, but yeah, you can in if the person is slightly on the fairer side, but for a lot of scars and acne scars and all that. So there are many types
Yeah.
of lasers which are
Actually,
available.
it is a fascinating thing that I always hear from the dermatologist point of view. but as a physician, we don't have that much of knowledge in that aspect. That's why I asked this. So after that, ma'am, I just wanted to know one more thing that we see a lot of times in the physicians OPD, that patients are having dark circles. So many of the times we think that it's because of the stress or lack of the sleep. So would you like to clarify on that?
Yeah. So when you talk of dark circles, what is the cause? As you rightly said, lack of sleep, stress, smoking, low hemoglobin, anemia.
Okay.
Okay. Allergies to cosmetics. So if you keep having some sort of allergies, you can develop post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Eye allergies, where you keep rubbing your eyes all the time, that friction will cause dark circles. A lot of sun exposure will cause dark circles. If you have insulin resistance, you can get acanthosis nigricans under the eye, which looks like dark circles.
Great.
So there are various causes. Sometimes it could be just a drug allergy. If you have atopic skin, that allergy to cosmetics.
Okay.
So all of that can cause dark circles. And last but not the least, sometimes you genetically have hollow sunken eyes, or as you age there is bone resorption. Your maxilla is resorbing, and therefore, and you also have a lot of fat loss, so you have sunken eyes. So there, when light falls, it casts a shadow, and that also looks like dark circles. So you have various reasons.
Yes, ma'am.
Identify the cause and treat the cause.
Yeah.
Otherwise there's no point. You'll just be living with it.
Is it hereditary, ma'am?
It can be hereditary also, one of the other reasons.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. After that, I have a lot of dermatologist friends who told me that definitely you have to ask this to ma'am. They're all your fan. Actually, I'm also one of them, but they are more because they have been following you since a lot of days. I got to know about the page like since 4 or 5 months back, but I was amazed with everything in your page and all these things you do on the Instagram. So they just wanted to know about after becoming a dermatologist, what are the struggles you face and how they do become like you.
Struggles, I think we've already discussed,
Yes.
but it's very important to be honest, to be ethical, to be, constantly learning and updating yourself, and to be dedicated to attend, you should attend workshops, seminars, read a lot of journal articles, keep abreast with whatever's happening today. And, these days cosmetic dermatology is the in thing, right? Everybody wants to become a cosmetic dermatologist. Great, please go ahead, but keep your morals and your ethical values alive. That is what I want to tell everybody.
One of my friend, Dr. Divya, actually she wanted to know about what should they prefer more, cosmetology or clinical dermatology?
Oh, that's an individual choice.
They can prefer.
Yeah, whatever you want, whatever is your calling, you follow that.
Yeah.
But at core, you're a dermatologist, so
Yeah.
don't forget that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Finally, I would like to know the story behind the book, that is Skincare Answer book. I knew that many of the celebrities, even not for the celebrities' perspective, but I have seen that it has been one of the best sellers on the Amazon as well. So, what is the story behind this, ma'am?
This is my third book. The first two have also been bestsellers.
Yes, ma'am.
Skin Talks and Skin Rules.
Yes, ma'am.
This is basically during COVID, when we had a lot of time and I was doing Instagram lives every day. A lot of people were asking me questions, and so I thought. And so the editor of Penguin, I had done 2 books with her already. So she reached out to me and she said, Jay, now what about your third book? At first I said, I got a little lazy or whatever. But then she gave me the idea and she said, but you're doing Instagram lives every day,
Right.
and this is the time. So that's when I thought, why don't I just make it a question answer book?
Yes.
And every week I would do a live, and then I would also do an ask me on Instagram and just put a topic. So every topic that you see in the table of contents here, say for example,
Yeah.
say for example skin types.
Right.
So I would say ask me about skin types, and there would be lots of questions. Then I would just answer them.
Lovely.
Then somebody would say, today the topic is acne, so all the questions, and then I will just answer them.
Amazing.
So that's how the book happened.
It's an amazing idea, actually.
Yeah.
It's really great. I'd love to read this again. Finally, ma'am, what would be your message to viewers? Many of them are MBBS students. Many of them are practicing medicine, dermatology per se, and many are of them from non-medicals as well. So, what would be your fine message to them?
I think it's very important to understand that the key to your happiness is with you. So please do not give it to anyone else, and stay positive, stay happy, and dream with your eyes open, because everything is available and achievable if you have focus, dedication, and discipline.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was an honor to host you, and it was actually a knowledgeable session for me. Being a physician, I got to learn so many things about dermatology. And guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope to see you soon in the next episode of the Beyond the Whitecoat podcast. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.